In a career spanning 40 years, I've aspired to conduct both fundamental and applied research while remaining steadfastly engaged in community outreach and implementation. I've done groundbreaking research in plant diversity and evolution, in restoration ecology, in conservation science, and in paleoecology. My social engagement has influenced policy and practice for conservation in South Africa, notably in the fields of restoration ecology and sustainable land use planning. As a child, I always had access to wild places, and my parents also enjoyed outdoors, and they encouraged us to be in nature as much as possible. What this engendered in me is an absolute love of nature, but it also sensitized me to the destruction of nature, which was happening at an ever-increasing pace. At university, I registered for a BSc majoring in botany and zoology, although I'd never done biology at school. Thus began a journey fueled by curiosity and awe. Being a botanist in South Africa exposed me to one of the most species-rich regions of the world, the Greater Cape Floristic region. And I've devoted a lot of my research to understanding the underpinnings of that diversity. My team and I gathered evidence from a wide array of disciplines, which suggested to me that what underpinned the biodiversity of the Cape was climatic stability over long periods in combination with high habitat diversity. This provided sufficient time and opportunity for speciation. Our hypothesis, we believe, predicts species diversity patterns globally. My colleagues and I have pioneered conservation planning approaches that have focused not only on biodiversity pattern, but also the processes that create the pattern. Furthermore, we've made sure, as far as we can, that these plans are ready for implementation. Throughout my career, my research has been socially engaged and therefore geared for implementation. I have led processes that have led to the conservation of extensive areas of Namaqualand, the Klein Karoo and the Addo region. I've also provided leadership in the biodiversity economy, in particular pioneering responsible ecotourism in the Cape.
From a biodiversity conservation point of view, Richard has had an immense impact over the years. Richard has been the driver behind getting the fynbos, succulent karoo and subtropical thicket biomes recognized as global biodiversity hotspots. He assisted in obtaining international funding in getting the Cape, SCEP and STEP projects going for each of these biomes. Richard was very involved in the science behind each of these initiatives. On top of that, he co-authored 3 beautiful coffee table books on each of these hotspots. Richard has played a huge role in the establishment of the Leslie Hill Succulent Karoo Trust managed by the WWF-SA.
I played a catalytic role in initiating state-sponsored restoration programs in the fynbos, which was working for water, and in the subtropical thicket, which was working for woodlands. This research was aimed at restoring ecosystem services, namely water production in fynbos invaded by alien trees and carbon sequestration in thicket that had been ravaged by Angora goats. Both programs have created a large number of jobs and are now attracting investment from the private sector.
Richard's influence, while globally acknowledged, has always been deeply rooted in his commitment to conserving and restoring South Africa's unique and abundant landscapes of biodiversity. His pioneering research that included quantifying the economic and ecological benefits of restoration significantly shaped both policy and practice. Notably, his collaborative efforts were instrumental in establishing the groundbreaking Working for Water program in 1995, safeguarding our increasingly precious water resources amidst our richly diverse landscapes.
The first evidence for cognitively modern humans comes from the Cape South coast. My team and I researched the biodiversity that sustained these Stone Age hunter-gatherers. We found a rich and resilient community of intertidal shellfish and an extraordinarily diverse and nutritious bulb flora. We have mapped these resources for contemporary and Ice Age times. These patterns can be used to predict the behavior and therefore the archaeology of humans over the past 200,000 years.
Richard made highly significant contributions to the paleoecology of South Africa and modern human origins. There are a series of archaeological sites at Pinnacle Point that document the world's earliest evidence for modern human advanced cognition and psychology. During most of the time that these ancient modern humans lived there, the Agulhas Bank was exposed and housed a now extinct ecosystem. Understanding that ecosystem is crucial to our knowledge of the origins of modern humans. Richard Cowling brought his formidable knowledge of modern ecology and used it in a highly novel way to help reconstruct the paleoecology of that ancient ecosystem. This path-breaking work revolutionized our understanding of the origins of modern humans on this coast and helped propel Pinnacle Point to World Heritage status, which it just attained.
As hunter-gatherers, which we have been for 99% of our existence as humans, we depended for all our needs on biodiversity and consequently hugely appreciated its value. Sadly, we have lost that appreciation and seem unconcerned that we are facing a massive extinction crisis. I believe we do have a chance of surviving climate change. That's why there's a pressing need for trained ecologists to figure out how we can do this.